we're going to do a little bit of a best of 2022 retrospective.
Yeah.
So what I have done is gone back through all the albums, EPs, and singles that we reviewed in 2022, and then I've taken each of our scores and then taken an average score for each one. So there's 15 albums and EPs, and there's 12 singles that we covered in 2022, and then I've tried to total up those scores and get a rough top 5. So what I've done is occasionally we'll be like, oh, it's a 7 or an 8 or an 8 or a 9. So I've taken the lowest of those scores rather than the highest if we've hedged our bets, and then totaled them up. So like I said, there are 15 albums and EPs. So I'm just going to quickly go through the ones and the scores. We've got a couple 7 out of 10s. It's Roseneath's self-titled EP and the self-titled EP from Radio Aftermath. Both really good EPs.
Absolutely.
With a 7.5 out of 10, we've got Drug Couple's Stoned Weekend, which is a pretty decent album. 2 8 out of 10s, which are Michael Timmons, The Likeness of the Dread, and Expiatoria's Shadows as well. They're both 8 out of 10s. And then we're getting into the 8.5 out of 10s, which we've got Porridge Radial's Water Slide, Diving Board, Ladder to the Sky, Genie's self-titled album, Becca Star's Speak No Evil, and Oceans to Infinity. So the last few albums are all 9 out of 10s or 9.5 out of 10s, and I've actually got a top 6 because that's just the way it worked out. Because they're all 9s or 9.5, so I can't really chop one off to get a top 5 because it's also a 9 out of 10, so it is a top 6. So that's how it worked out. So the top 6 are, these are the 9 out of 10s, so in no particular order. We've got the Bundy Bunch self-titled EP, 9 out of 10. The Linda Lindas, Growing Up.
Yeah, that's really good.
Honning Barna's Animorphs, which came out right at the beginning of 2022. Grama Vedetta's The Hum of the Machine, and Evidence of a Broken Mind by 2.5 Girl. And then the highest scoring album we had was Pup, The Unraveling of Pup the Band, with a 9.5 out of 10. So I don't think there weren't any albums where we both gave them 10 out of 10s this time, but there we have it. So that's the top 6 albums and EPs of 2022 according to the Scratchcast. Now, out of the ones we covered, we haven't included any that we didn't cover, so it's pretty it's not that broad a list, to be honest. So I've done the same for the singles, and there's 12 of them. So we didn't score anything less than a 7.5 out of 10. So we've got, in no particular order, Callum Baird, Some Call This Normal, Zenaya Rubinos's Working All the Time, Pip Blom, I Know I'm Not Easy to Like, Magna Zero, Endure, and then 8 out of 10s. This one's a bit of a weird one because I've got Radio Fury, I've got Hate Mail / False Faces, because we kind of talked about both of them at the same time. Yeah, and then I think the scores got a little bit mixed up between the two, so I'm just going to put them in together. So it's Radio Fury, that's 8 out of 10. Basement Revolver, Circles, 8 out of 10. A Heretic's Inheritance by Dalek, that's a great tune. And Sylvan Esso's Didn't Care as well. So we then have in the top 5, actually we've only got, so with a score greater than 8 out of 10, I've got 4 singles. So what I need to do here is I want to make it up to a top 6 in the same way as the albums. So from that 8 out of 10 list, I want you to pick your favourite of those 4. So you've got Radio Fury, Hate Mail, False Faces, Basement Revolver's Circles, Daleks, A Heretic's Inheritance, or Sylvan Esso Didn't Care.
And I have to choose my favourite out of those.
You have to choose your favourite out of those 4.
Oh, man. I think it would probably, for me, be a toss-up between Basement Revolver Circles and Sylvan Esso Didn't Care. Yeah, I think it'd be a toss-up between those two, in my opinion.
I was going to be like, well, check your scores, and then whichever one's got the highest score is the winner. But
Is the winner.
They're both 8 out of 10 that you've given it, so it doesn't work. So that's fine. I would probably pick Dalek, A Heretic's Inheritance, out of those 4, I think. But, they're all great songs.
Yeah,
so
they are.
That didn't really work. So anyway, we'll just move on. So
it's worth a try.
We'll just
Although,
move on.
To be fair, Snids, it was quite interesting, kind of like you traipsing over some of those tracks and albums, because there was some that I'd forgotten about. I'd forgotten about how good Michael Timmons' debut album, I think it's his debut album. Yeah, I'd forgotten how good that was.
Yeah, it's like easy to forget the stuff that we've covered, and yeah, like you say, how good a lot, like most of it is.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
So right, let's just reel off these top 4 singles then. So we've got 2 8.5 out of 10s. So we've got Princess Chelsea, Everything Is Going to Be Alright, absolute belter. Sorry, Let the Lights On.
Yeah, brilliant.
Shoulder Season, Dominoes. What a brilliant track.
That's a brilliant track. Yeah.
And sorry, that's a 9 out of 10. And then we've got Weird Nightmare, Wrecked, which is also a 9 out of 10. So yeah, I think Dominoes is probably my favourite out of those.
Shoulder Season. Yeah, I think I'd be inclined to agree. Yeah. They're a Canadian band, aren't they?
Yes. Yeah, because they were from Nova Scotia, I think, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. So there we go. That was a quick recap of 2022. So yeah, just goes to show how much how strong a lot of the music that we covered was, even our tiny little corner of the things that we were sent and decided to cover. So
to cover,
yeah. So there we go.